let's move on to something much shorter than the previous Indiana Jones miniseries, which is going to be Indiana Jones and the Golden Fleece. Now, this was written by Pat McGreal and Dave Rawson, with pencils by Ken Hooper, inks by Stan Woch and Eric Shanower, colors by John A. Wilcox, letters by Clem Robbins, and special thanks to Brandon McKinney. This is because I don't read the entire team off when I review these, so sorry. They'll be in the description below. So anyway, this is a 2-issue mini where Indiana Jones is tracking down the Golden Fleece as seen in Jason and the Argonauts. So he's in Greece for this one. This is in 1941, I believe. So it's an older indie than we normally get with these comics. Basically, it was kind of a big no-no for a while to write anything past Last Crusade. That's why Fate of Atlantis was a big deal. That and it became this multimedia event. But after that, you do see some of these Dark Horse comics taking place after Last Crusade. The only other big thing that happens like post Last Crusade, before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, is the German novels take place after Last Crusade, which is interesting. There's also Del Rey's Indiana Jones and the Army of the Dead by Steve Perry that took place during the 40s. But for the most part, not a lot happens in that time period because George Lucas wouldn't allow it. Which I think is interesting, and I think it really has to do with he didn't know what to do with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So that's why there was like a big no-no. You can't do a sequel past Last Crusade. But after a while, you start to see them popping up, and this is one of them. This is an interesting one because it has Nazis in it, but they aren't the main antagonists. Rather, there's a Turkish cult that wants to get the Golden Fleece because it's been desecrated, and they want to do this weird ritual to make it powerful again. So Indy's trying to get the fleece before they do. He's with this woman, this Greek woman named Omphie, and she's interesting. She is a pregnant woman whose husband's abandoned her. This is something that I personally had never seen before in an Indiana Jones story. So they don't have... They aren't love interests, which is nice. He doesn't even put any moves on her, really, because everyone thinks that Indiana Jones always puts the moves on the women, and if there's anything from these Dark Horse comics, that rarely happens. In fact, I don't... If we're going with the way I've reviewed these, it's only happened in The Arms of Gold, where he did try to put some moves on Francesca, but in this, no, he's a gentleman. She's tough. She can fly planes. She's a really good sidekick for Indy to have in this. Overall, I really liked this story. This story is wild, really wild. And I was for it. The ending of this 2-issue mini is so crazy that it might top the ending of Raiders of the Lost Ark and how wild it is. The art in this is just incredible. I will not show you the end. You have to see it. Like, this is something you've got to check out and read and look at it for yourself, because it's wild. I was so for it. Overall, this is probably one of my favorite indie comics, I think. I'd never read this before, and, I was really happy with it. It's short enough that it's fun to read. The framing device for this is interesting. It's Indiana Jones's memoirs. He's talking about an adventure that he had back in 41. And I'm all about it. So, honestly, 4.8 out of 5. I wanted a little more, but, 2 issues, fine with me. So, anyway, join me next time as we review Indiana Jones and the Sea Devil. Ooh.